I want to walk you through how I would actually start going through and brand audit and what I'd be looking at and how I would be thinking about it. And I'm going to use CNN as an example because CNN, in my mind, is growing up especially, was the authority around news. I remember watching OJ being chased slowly down a highway on CNN. But some of the things they've been doing around their brand are downright bizarre. No, it's not bizarre. It's fully explainable. It's just downright bad. Let me explain. Let's have a look at it. The first thing I want to do is like what I first thing I would always do is it's almost like therapy. Like you have to check your feelings about the brand at the door, especially if you know who the brand is. Maybe my association to who the brand is and what they're all about is not how they see themselves. A fabulous way to go about seeing that and checking that is going to the Google results page, also known as the SERP, and seeing how they describe themselves. Often it'll show up here. This is called a meta description. Here, by the way, sometimes Google pulls in all sorts of weird stuff. That's what's going on here, it would seem. But if you go down to their YouTube channel, which is another place you can see the same thing, CNN is the world leader in news and information and seeks to inform, engage, yada, yada. Okay, so my association about who they are, superpower about news authorities, exactly how they describe themselves. And it's how they're described on their Wikipedia page. It's pretty consistent across the board. It's how they function on social media. So all of their stories are really relevant. By the way, like my super association to CNN is about politics, and they've always been a very politic focused, international focused kind of news organization in my mind. So seeing this about the former governor of New York, it makes sense. Okay, Gene Hackman, you had to have Gene Hackman there. Big news story, international news story. Gene Hackman again because hey, Gene Hackman's awesome. News story, news story. This all makes sense. It's all right up their alley, so to speak. It's pretty much the same on Instagram, even. It's a little bit less focused on those super authority kind of stories, like some guy being trapped on a window. All right, it's Instagram. I guess I get it. That's fine. Whatever. The problem happens. The first place I noticed the problem was YouTube. Okay, so check this out. And then when you go to the website, it's way worse. But this is how I first caught it. Everything looks pretty normal, right? They have news stories, Gene Hackman, they're one of their shows. It all seems pretty normal for a news, except for here. Whoa, 4 days ago. This heated fleece jacket is my secret weapon this winter. I'm sorry. Um, that's clearly as important as the Pope's health and what's going on in the White House, my heated fleece jacket. And you'll see it again every week or so. There's another one here. The two best binoculars for watching birds, baseball, or just about whatever. And that's right next to a fired FAA employee and, conflict around Elon Musk, blah, 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 blah. Conflict of interest, rather. It's weird. It's downright bizarre, but I know exactly what's happening here because I've seen this before with other publications, and it is a giant branding mistake. So let me say something to you, okay? It's literally in the homepage of my website. Your content is your brand. Okay. What you communicate outward that people take inward, that intersection is your brand. Your content is how you communicate. Your content is your brand. Okay. It's not just going in social media saying, hey, here's what we do. That's very explicit. That doesn't resonate. And that's out of all the things, probably not your brand. Your content, every word you say, every video, every article, everything you put out, that's your brand. What is CNN doing? Binoculars are their brand now? That's crazy. And it is crazy. But it's not so crazy. Well, it's absolutely crazy. It's not so crazy when you think about what they're trying to do, which is completely wrong. When you go to their website now, you get an enormous ad banner up top. That's a red flag. Anytime you see a company do this, that's an enormous red flag that they are in a revenue crunch. By the way, horrible for your branding. CNN, tiny little logo. Airline, giant banner ad. You kidding me? But fine. We'll just leave that aside. Tiny little CNN logo. It looks fine. It all looks kind of like their social media. You have a story about Trump and Ukraine. It all makes sense. Something about something landed on the moon. All right, that's fine. Makes sense. Great. Gene Hackman also great. Mysterious tunnel sketched by Leonardo da Vinci. All right, that's a little bit like weird. Okay. But as you go down, you'll start to see there's more and more of these weird like CNN podcast. I'm expecting to see, I don't know, podcast about what's happening in the White House, podcast, international news podcast. She missed her train to continue her vacation romance. Here's how it worked out. What? What? Why Elon Musk wants you to have more kids? Like, is that a news story? Is that a gossip story? For subscribers, this is amazing to me. No one knows what this ancient script says. Now there's a $1 million prize to crack the code. That screams news authority to me. I would totally want to subscribe now. That's what's amazing to me about this is that they're trying to get subscribers. I'll show you in a minute. They're paying a lot of money to try to get subscribers, and that's the branding around getting the subscribers. Okay, the articles are the branding. The product is the branding. The product communicates who you are more than anything else, which I don't think a lot of brand marketers realize. Like if you're a company that's a website builder, the fact that you make a website builder gives you more identity than anything else. The product, the service, whatever it is that you do is what gives you your identity. Now, how you like tap into that and what that means and how you shape it and what that actually means in a meaningful way, of course, we can work on that. That's something different. This is the content they want to show you. No one knows what? You're an authoritative news website. Think of like the New York Times. They get subscribers. I sat on a panel with someone from the New York Times talking about this by showing that news is hard. Getting the news right is hard. So it shouldn't necessarily be free. That's how they get subscribers. CNN gets subscribers by, hey, here's a chance to earn $1 million. Crack the code. What? And here, check these out. 5 things this ER doctor would like you to start doing. One of them is to click this post to see our ads being advertised here, not our advertisers' ads being advertised here. The vacation was supposed to save her marriage, but then she met the tour guide. What? That's right next to is flying still safe? There was a crash. Is flying still safe? Flying still safe. Vacation tour guide love affair. Which one says news authority? I'll have to think about it. And it's bonkers. By the way, the things that are happening on this website are out of control. I'll show you something from SEMrush. SEMrush, by the way, is an absolutely fabulous platform if you're on the brand side. If you're on the SEO side or the performance marketing side, you know SEMrush. If you're on the brand side and you're looking at this, SEMrush is a great tool to dive into what the heck is actually happening with a website across the digital space. In this case, we're looking at their ad history. So I would expect, by the way, CNN's ad history to be like, I don't know, new subscription. Those are the keywords. Like they're going to Google. You type, I don't know, news. I can't type news subscription. Right. And I would expect CNN to be advertising here. I mean, no one's advertising here, but whatever. Great. That's not what they're advertising for. Their best website builder up until from September through February, they were advertising for website builders. They reached the number 3 position on Google in the paid the third paid slot. So you have 1, 2, 3 ads. They were the third one. They were advertising for best pet insurance, best LLC service. How much is pet insurance? What in the world is going on here? By the way, if you want to see their current ad copy, right? They're just trying to get you to subscribe to stuff. I don't think that's what they were advertising before. I think it's what they're advertising right now. Right? They're just really pushing for you to get that subscription. Which again, if we go back to the homepage, wow, let me get a subscription. So good, ginormous banner ad again. So I can learn about how do I win this, $1 million thing. Where to go? Oh, that's gone. Okay. There is $1 million. Great. Holy mackerel. Um, you can also see, okay, CNN doing something really crazy with their content. So what I did was I saw this whole thing here. I'm like, what are they actually showing for pets? Like, what's going on? Pet insurance, going on this pet insurance thing. So it turns out that Lemonade wrote an article, okay, that was sponsored. CNN, the authority in website news, nothing screams authority by pimping out your website to Lemonade so they can pimp their stuff about pet insurance. Which I didn't even know Lemonade sold pet insurance, but whatever. Um, why? By the way, this is like not good. I don't. Where do you start with this? This is not good. You're hosting paid your CNN and you're operating like you're some no name, website. Websites do this all the time, by the way. They're like, niche websites, vertical specific. The CNNs of the world. Like, Forbes does this, and Forbes is garbage. CNN shouldn't be doing this. By the way, the reason why you and I, well, no, I don't know about you, but I think Forbes is garbage is because they pimped out their website to all sorts of content, which is exactly what CNN is doing. You can't, okay? If I'm looking at this and I'm going to CNN, hey, client, you can't do this. Okay, you can't start renting out your website and do this and then tell people to subscribe for really authoritative news content at the same time. Those are two very mixed messages. That's like when my kids make a giant mess on the floor and I say, don't do that. We're going out for ice cream. They are confused, but I like ice cream, so I don't care. Not only that, so then what I did was, you know what? Let's go to pets. Like, okay, let me just show you here. They hosted this, CNN hosted this, which is why it's also misleading. Because that like it's under like sponsored / limit, it's pets. So what happens if we go to pets? CNN, .com / CNN _ pets. What happens? Oh boy, look at this. Oh, that. We have an entire cluster of content about the best dog whatevers. What? Okay, so I already opened some of these up for you. 14 best dog ID tags, blah, 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 blah. CNN underscored. Okay, CNN underscored is an entire section of the website about product reviews, which is an enormous, enormous red flag that this brand is going down. This, like, you know what? When you see this, okay, if I see this on a website, an authoritative website, it's basically the equivalent of the website screaming iceberg and then crash. I'll explain. So, why is CNN doing this? And the content looks okay, pretty good, sure. Oh, oh, oh no. What happened? Tell you what happened. One is, and every one of these pages is a sponsor from Nike. Okay. Shop this, blah, blah, blah. So, okay. New place to earn ad revenue, but $17 on Amazon. Huh. That's so, oh, look at this. Oh, they added one for Chewy too. That's smart because that would be following Google's guidelines. So I'm going to open that. I didn't see that before. Wow. Look at this. It is so nice of them to tell me where I can buy these things. I really appreciate you, CNN. Oh, snap. Oh, snap. It's an affiliate link. Ho, ho, ho. Okay, so here's the actual link, like the normal link. Then there's a parameter added on to link. If you are in the brand marketing space, let me explain what you're looking at. You're looking at tracking here. Okay? You're looking at something added on to the URL so that Chewy now knows that the source, okay, equals partner, and it's an affiliate, and CNN should get a cut if I buy this stupid thing, whatever it is. Go tags, nylon, dog collar, whatever. If I buy that, it's not stupid. But if I buy that, CNN gets cut. All right? I'll show you another one. There's one open before. Um, whatever the heck this is, dog worker dog puzzle. All right, didn't know dogs do puzzle. You learn something new each day. That's the normal Amazon link. Okay. This is the link from CNN. And it's again the same thing. There's all the parameters, equals, 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 and it's this equals, blah, 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 tag. Okay. That's telling Amazon that this is coming from a CNN page and that CNN should get a cut. Okay? CNN is now relying on people buying dog puzzles to earn revenue. And at the same time is saying, you should sign up for our really authoritative news content because we're super authoritative and super newsy. Obviously, right? You can learn about this person's vacation and how she had an affair with the tour guide and get a dog puzzle. It's insane. But by the way, now seeing this crap on the YouTube page makes a lot of sense. These are things I'm looking for when I'm auditing a brand, and they're inconsistencies. There's where there's misalignment with the brand. And the misalignment with the brand will make it that it performs well in the short term, right? Not well in the long term. And the third thing it's going to do is going to force them to pay for it in the meantime. And you're like, what? And this is where I talk to performance marketers all the time. And like, I don't understand what you're talking about. My brand makes it easier for me to perform for less money? Yes. Just look at CNN. Let's go back to SEMrush. But this time we're looking at their traffic. And their traffic looks fine. Right? There was a nice bump around COVID. It's maybe down a little bit. Fine. Like, that's not something I'm going to freak out about. Right? Like, the market changed, more competition. It's not like earth-shattering numbers. By the way, some are just forecasting the decline, but that's interesting in its own right. But that's just a forecast. What is interesting to me is, if I can find a few, yes, the sources of traffic. Because you can't just look at traffic. By the way, yes, as a brand marketer, I need to look at where they're getting their traffic from to their website. That will say a lot of things about where the brand is at. Direct is super important for brand. Okay, because if I'm a known quantity, people should be searching, not searching rather, people should be coming to me just by typing CNN.com into Chrome or whatever other browser you're using. It's down a little bit. I might be slightly concerned. It looks like it's not my main focus. Like, it looks like, all right, fine. Referrals up. That's interesting. You'll see why in a minute. Organic search. Okay, that means traffic from Google's organic results. You type in, like, I don't know, international news, and you see CNN just ranking there. That's the traffic. That's down a lot. Wow, that is like seriously down. Let's ignore COVID for a minute. They used to bring in 55 million, 66 million people a month. Okay, now they're bringing in half of that. That's a big problem. Now, when that happens, when you lose your organic presence, other things need to compensate for it. We're going to go to organic social next. That's another big problem. Right? They're not resonating. If you're looking at less social traffic, it means that whatever you're posting isn't resonating as well. All things being equal, we would need to dive into that just a little bit more. We're going to go to email marketing. That looks good. Like, that's what you want to see. Consistent, steady growth. So we're going to leave that. Now let's start getting into the paid side. Paid search. Whoa. What happened there? What happened is what I told you was going to happen. If you're seeing an overall decay of brand, which you are doing to yourself by throwing all this other content garbage out there, you're going to have to pay. And now CNN is paying tons of money to appear on Google's paid results. When you search for whatever it is, the first listing might be a sponsored listing, and that's what CNN is paying for. They're also paying For paid social, same thing. Ginormous paid social, which makes sense. Their organic search is down. Their organic social is down. So now they have to pay. Oh, they're also paying for more display ads. Okay, this is the problem. This is exactly the problem. If you can't build a brand that's consistent, that resonates, that I understand when I show up to the website that you're not just trying to throw me a giant ad for an airline in my face while putting a story there and it's still safe to fly. Chill, Morty. That's inconsistent. That's crazy. Okay. All the ads here are crazy. They say something. You're screaming for revenue. If you're desperate for revenue, how good can your content really be? Having an ad isn't a bad thing. You need to have ads. People come to expect that. And this by itself, this ad here would be fine. That one and this giant one above the logo itself screams desperation to your audience. Okay. Not what you want. The same thing is if you're trying to showcase your subscription model, there's an inconsistency and a misalignment there. You're trying to get people to subscribe to clickbait kind of content, but your whole brand is built around really authoritative content. That doesn't align. That's not going to work. At the same time, because none of this is working, you're now looking for new revenue channels. And what CNN is doing is the same thing as what Rolling Stone is doing, which is why I told you I've seen this before. Rolling Stone, I can't type when I'm like recording stuff. Rolling Stone best fridges. Okay. Rolling Stone did the same thing. Rolling Stone couldn't get digital subscribers when the world went away from paper magazines. And now they write, it's ungated. Most of the other content is gated. This stuff is not gated. And they're writing about the best refrigerators. And they're doing the same thing. So when a brand does this, it's desperate. They're looking for money, other sources of revenue, because whatever they're doing isn't working. CNN doing this shows that their brand isn't working. And instead of trying to figure out how do we right the ship and get this away from that iceberg that we're headed towards, they just full steam ahead towards the iceberg. This is going to catch up with them because you can't get a subscriber model while doing this kind of garbage. It doesn't work. And in the end, what it shows you have to do in order to keep your numbers up is to pay for it. CNN, which I always thought was a brand up there with any other brand, is now a brand in serious decline. And unless it figures out a way to align all of its branding and all of its messaging and all of the content, which is the messaging, which is the branding, it's going to have to pay more and more and more. And eventually, it's going to have to either significantly close in on itself, which is what the Rolling Stone has actually done, or it's going to have to just shut down, which I don't think is going to happen. I think it's going to collapse in on itself a little bit. That's the problem with bad branding. And that's the kind of thing that I'm looking for in an audit. I'm looking for consistency across all of the content, across all of the platforms, and seeing what you're saying about yourself, seeing that it aligns with you, and then seeing what the numbers show. And there's a million other ways we can look at data, but if the data aligns to what I'm seeing in the real world, then that's a real problem. And it's a telltale sign when you see a big brand like this start paying more and not relying on all of that good branding, all of that good authority, all that good stuff that they've been doing for the last, God, like 30 years. And now they're paying for social. Now they're paying for organic, for Google. Now they're paying for display ads all over the place. That's a little bit sad. And it's a really big red flag. And now what happens, to my last point in an organization is that instead of whoever their CMO is, instead of saying, okay, wait a second, we're seeing a decline, we're seeing things changing in the ecosystem, let's diagnose the root cause of it. They're just trying to keep the boat afloat without having to deal with the really, underlying disease. And that never works. Inevitably, it crashes. So if you're listening, CNN, I would recommend you take a different course. Otherwise, you're really just headed right for that iceberg. On that happy note, see ya.